So far behind the left.
Your low point is going to be about there.
Now I thought I was doing the right thing, trying to hit up to maximise how far I hit driver. It turns out I was wrong. And to be honest with you, I think you'll have it all wrong too.
They're not very often struck for words.
Big improvements available to you, but so that tells us there's probably at least 3 inches of where you think you've been somewhere and you're not.
This is Anders, voted #1 coach in the UK. And in order to get my driver game in order for open qualifying, I thought there was no better person to come and see.
It doesn't look like me.
Right then. So we're going to look at the driver here. Now, traditionally, you've always heard ball positions really forward with a driver, lean back off it a little bit, get your sternum back here and hit right up on the ball. That's been the message driver-wise. A little bit different now. The modern equipment launches the ball very, very high automatically. It spins quite low. So those parameters don't really apply anymore. Whereas your top tour pros nowadays hit between 1 and 1.5 degrees down on a driver, which might surprise people.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say like a lot of people looking at this going right now, oh, bloody hell, I've been doing so many drills trying to hit up on the golf ball. Well, actually, that could be the reason why you're hitting it pretty bad.
Yeah, could be. Now, for some club golfers, hitting up on it's still going to be a valid reason, but I think most do that to excess, to be honest. I think if the majority of club golfers aim to hit the driver at low point, I think a lot would improve from that.
Okay.
I think this misconception of ball miles forward, sternum back, is only going to drop the low point back here, and you're either drop kicking it or topping it. So I think moving it more or less at the low point's the way forward.
Okay.
I want to show the effect of having the low point too early.
Yeah.
A lot of club golfers will say, I'm brilliant with my 8-iron.
Yeah.
But I slice my driver.
Yeah.
I must have a different swing. It's not. It's the same. They're using the same swing. It's just the impact point is a lot later.
Yeah.
So, of course, on the driver, which I'll show you in a second with the hoop, the effect. But the further back the low point goes, Alex, the more likely a club golfer is to slice it. So if I can just borrow that. This is a very, very interesting concept. And I think once people get their heads around this, I think there'll be a light bulb moment for a lot of people when it comes to driver. So if we said, for argument's sake, that this is the middle of the stance here, there's the low point. At that point, the club is travelling straight. If that same golf swing was hitting a driver, which is pegged up here, can you see the direction the club's taking at that point?
Yeah,
Same swing, no change in swing at all, but at that point, how far left is that going, Alex?
Well,
miles.
30, 40, 50 yards, 60 yards?
That is a huge slice.
So if we look at this from down the line here, that's a really important point. Like, so we're saying if the ball's here, look how we're now, or even just one that's teed up, look how far left that is.
So where the ball is, this one, the club, this could be somebody's 8-iron that they're hitting really lovely straight, but their driver impact is there, which is now a massive slice.
Yeah.
The assumption will be, my driver swing's worse than my iron swing.
Yeah.
But in fact, it's the same.
Yeah.
But there's one very, very important concept here, and that is if you are going to hit the ball on the up with your driver, you would need to move your swing plane to there to hit it straight.
So you'd have to be a lot more, what people would classify as a lot more into out.
Absolutely, massively so. So if, on the other hand, if we said that this is a neutral swing path, Alex, and now I move this low point closer and closer and closer.
So less on the up for people.
Less on the up. What's it doing for my path?
Well, it's making it straighter, straighter and
straighter. Of course it is. I haven't changed the path yet at all. Now, I've got a straight path and a good chance of hitting it straight, but I'm at the low point.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense to me.
So it's almost like people getting their low point even further and further and further back is making their path go further and further and further.
The further back this low point goes,
and the more and more they've got to swing from the inside.
Correct. They would have to an extreme case, you'd have to get to that point. If you want to hit it up,
which for a lot of people is not
physically nearly impossible.
Yeah.
So to me, there are so many advantages for a club golfer to actually move this ball back slightly, not forward. Don't lean back. Don't try and hit it loads on the up.
Okay.
There are far more advantages to hitting this ball on a straight path.
So having the ball close towards the middle of their stance.
Nearer to the, slightly nearer the middle.
Middle.
Because
not the middle, but...
we want to catch it at roughly low point. Historically, I know with old wooden-headed clubs, it was essential. Not anymore, and that's why your tour pros now. So say your average tour pro is 1.5 degrees down.
Interesting.
So I think there's a lot of gains here.
Right. I'm very excited about this.
Now I want to show you an interesting impact position here. Again, driver versus iron, because I think historically we kind of look at those impact positions as totally different. You know, an iron, we've talked about it before. We get the hands forward, we compress it, we really try and hit it low. With the driver, the hand position is much more level, really.
Yeah.
Whether you want it to your ball position here, or if you do prefer it forward, the hand position is fairly level. If you take a wedge here, where my impact position would be similar to that, sternum in front, hands well forward, and then I take my driver, which would be kind of like this, Alex. My sternum's behind that ball now.
Yeah, but you're in the same body position.
If you actually look at those two, they're the same. Do you see that?
So people thinking I've got to work on my driver swing, work on my hand swing, it's just it's a false economy, really.
Well, it is, because they're both returning in the same point.
And look how this would, I mean, I know you just place these down willy-nilly, but look, you can see this would give you shaft lean, this would give you less shaft lean, and almost hand straight up and out. Yeah.
But in fact, if you took away the club, my hand positioning is the same on both. My sternum position is the same on both, but this one's ahead of that ball and it's behind of this ball.
Because the ball position is slightly different.
But I'm repeating the same.
So,
and I think there's a misconception on that.
So, and I think about this in terms of logic. Like, people want to improve, and you're thinking of them as different swings. You've almost got to hit the same amount of swings doing two different things. Whereas actually, that's very hard to become a better golfer. If you look at this and go, okay, if I just keep working on the same things, I'm actually hitting wedge shots, but I'm actually working on my driver impact position as well.
Yeah. I think knowing that if you are trying to hit up on that loads, you would have to move your swing plane a lot to the right to compensate. Well, most club golfers are over.
Yeah.
Hence, they struggle with a driver, but they feel okay with an 8-iron.
Yeah.
But in fact, it's a different impact point.
Right. I'm excited about this. So
okay.
I'm going to feel like, so for me now, what are we sort of talking about? I'm trying to feel?
As we discussed a few weeks ago, your position at the top with your driver, which used to be historically across the line, which we talked about, which then drops the club back in here, which means you are now going to have to wrap your hands over it, which unfortunately brings on a lefty every now and again.
Yeah.
Your position at the top now is far more neutral.
Yeah.
I still want you now, though, to feel this impact position. Your sternum is going to return just forward of where it starts, so your low point, Alex, will be about there.
Okay. Whereas before, when I was leaning back, it was
here.
Yeah.
You'll probably feel initially as if you're going to hit it quite low.
Yeah. Okay.
You might even feel it's going to go too low.
Okay.
I'd be really interested to see.
Where do you want my ball position to be then?
I'm going to ask you to put it about a ball forward of middle for now.
Okay, so that's middle, so that's a ball forward.
Which will feel really back for a while.
Yeah, that feels crazy back. Okay, right.
Problem is, if you're way from the inside, you're going to end up with the ball so far forward and hitting it up. Whereas I want you to try the reverse of that for now. I want you to put it back of where you're comfortable, covering it more than you've ever done.
Okay. I feel like I'm going to hit a punch shot with a driver here, but we'll go for it.
But with a full follow-through.
Full follow-through, okay. So I'm not looking to that like sort of Tommy Fleetwood style.
No, I want you to follow through as you comfortably do.
Okay.
But I want you to feel like you're hitting this at its low point, with your sternum and your head not coming this way. Yes.
Okay. Right.
What's it going to do for your path?
Well, it's not going to make it as stuck behind.
Correct.
Into out.
It's going to neutralise it.
Yeah. Right, here we go.
Yep, good. And again.
Even though that was low, that felt very solid.
Let's go again.
And I'm not looking to start with any of this.
Just set yourself up neutrally. If your ball is forward of middle, your sternum is behind it.
Okay.
Make logic?
Yeah.
And again. And now, just nudge the ball slightly forward, a ball forward of where it was.
So it's still inside this.
It's not as far as your left heel, but it's forward of centre.
So it was there, and it's now a little bit further forward. Okay.
And what we're going to do here is we're We're nudging this now slightly, slightly, slightly until we find your sweet spot.
Okay. And is that an important thing for people to do in this exercise? Find their sweet spot.
Correct.
So they're still feeling as though they're moving into that left side. They're not hanging back. So you'd start it towards the middle and just keep nudging it until you find your sweet spot.
So you're starting off 50-50 with your weight. There's no right 60-40, 50-50.
Yeah.
But your movement is this way through impact. You're moving it to the left.
Yeah.
But we're all built differently.
Yeah.
We're all, some are high, some are tall, some are short, some are physically more able than others. You've got to. I would start from the middle personally, and I'd be moving forward.
Whereas people start here and move back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right, that's where I was. I'm going to go a little further forward. Okay.
And again, a couple more at that point.
Okay.
Now, Alex, I've just got to remind you, top of your backswing here.
Yeah.
This, and remember, your left forearm was a key movement for you.
This.
Get yourself here at the top.
Okay.
I've distracted you a little bit by talking about the sternum and the impact position, but we've still got to focus on the top.
Which, for everybody's reference point there, it's feeling my right leg is sort of here and not moving my right knee, and
That's it.
feels that. Okay.
Now, full follow through this time. Yeah, okay, let's go again. You're still getting yourself a little bit cross at the top here.
Okay.
So that needs a refresher. This shaft is probably 15 to 20 yards right at the top of the backswing.
Okay.
You're going to need to feel as if it's 15, 20
20
left at the top.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Better.
Oh my God, look at that. I felt like really exaggerating every aspect, that way and that way.
It's fabulous. It was just neutral. Okay. There's no exaggeration about it. It's fantastic. But it feels like an exaggeration.
Yeah.
Do that again. Be disciplined at the top now with your leg and the hand and the forearm.
And
that was a great
the
drive.
same position.
Go maybe a touch more now.
Okay.
Tiny bit.
So I started here, there, and now feel like I'm...
Correct. My gut feeling is this is probably where we'll end up.
Okay. So it's still back of where I'd have it. I'd be sort of somewhere here.
So discipline at the top now. Yeah, and then full follow through. Amazing. See that you've got a lower flight?
Yeah, because you probably know the answer to this, and everybody watches this channel. I am so capable of the high right, and then sometimes I'll go, oh my God, I've hit a snap hook.
But there's times where that shot's great.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more times where it's not.
It hurts me more than it helps me, Anders, is what I'd say.
Nice.
Oh my God. Look at that.
That's like a bullet. That will run and run and run.
For me to hit that shot before, I'd have taken about 5 miles an hour off it and just tickled it down there.
I don't think you'd take anything off it.
No, but before, for me to get that flight, I couldn't do it.
No, I understand. It's a lovely, lovely shot to have, though, isn't it?
Oh, I feel like I'm hitting an iron. That's the way I describe it.
Yeah.
Was that a fair comment?
Yeah, fair. I think you're hitting this more or less at the low point.
But my sensation is, because I've been used to being like this, I feel like I'm then hitting an iron there. So that ball position just there. Okay. Whew. I'd be really interested to see what this looks like at impact, because I feel this is crazy.
Okay, I'm going to show you in a second. Just bear with me. It'll be interesting because the feeling...
Look at that flight. I've never launched it so low, but like, I would not have said it was going that far. That's crazy.
And it's a 2.4 path.
Oh my God, that was a bullet.
309, Alex.
I feel like I've got about 5 miles an hour in the locker, speed-wise as well. I'm not even trying to hit that hard.
You've hit that 1.6 degree down, and you've hit it 2 degrees left. When's the last time you had a left path in your life, Alex?
I can't tell you. I literally can't tell you, Anders.
But you've hit it 309 with a range ball.
I mean, I'm 161 ball speed. I'm not even trying to get that. Like, that's when everybody will see me talk about this. And I had like, I do on the review channel, like, oh, anything around 160 ball speed, I'm happy. I'm over the moon with, and that's me jumping all over it.
Yeah.
I'm not jumping on that.
This is efficient.
Yeah, that feels like. I don't want to sound big-headed for everybody watching. That feels like my stock swing.
Yeah. There's more in there.
Yeah. So ball position slightly back of that. Oh my God, look at that.
Now let me show you the face on.
You got a video?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Look at the distance on that one.
304.
I mean, I'm not bothered about distance. I mean, I say this to everybody, but it's exciting when I feel like I'm not doing a lot to get a lot out of it.
For a lot of gain. It's more efficient. That's
So
all
look
it
at
is.
that ball position there. That feels so far back to me,
How
but it's
far
not.
back is it?
It's
Slight.
half a ball.
Yeah. You feel like it's middle.
Oh, yeah.
But it isn't. This is, again, one of those scenarios where without...
I felt like it was there, then
Yep.
I felt like I went there, and I felt like I went there, but really it's all the way up here.
Well, what it tells us is when you think, historically, that you've been here,
Yeah.
there's no way you have been.
No.
It'll have been there.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you're here now,
Yeah.
and it's there.
Yeah.
So that tells us there's probably at least 3 inches of where you think you've been somewhere and you're not. Here's the swing. Right, let me show you this impact. So,
Oh my God.
bearing in mind, your feeling is that your head and your chest is a foot this way.
Yeah, I could do more.
There's more. There's more.
Jeez.
We're just getting started here.
But that's really good, right?
It's fantastic. But I think you've got a bit more in the locker than that.
Okay.
And
That
what I
sounds
would
great.
say is at this juncture, even though this feels great and it's performing fantastic, go more, because what I find a lot of the time is people will change a golf swing
Yeah.
and they get it and they enjoy it because it's working, and at that point they ease off.
Yeah, okay.
They relax, and of course what happens is they revert to their old issues. They then go for a lesson, get it back to good, and then of course it relaxes because it's working. When you've got it working, push more. Even
Okay.
though you think you don't want to push more now because it's great. I need you to push more to make it stick.
Would it be fair to say that club golfers can't overdo a feeling?
Highly
of-
unlikely.
Okay.
Highly unlikely. I'm forever telling people to overdo, and I'm telling you to do the same.
Okay. Right, here we go. This is me seriously overdoing it. Same ball position, which is I'm feeling a ball inside my left heel for reference, everybody. Right, okay. I'm going to do this as much as I dare, make it feel silly.
Amazing.
That felt ridiculous.
It's so good. It's so good. One more.
Oh my God. I mean, I'm not used to seeing it fly that long and that low.
Right,
I'm
here's
going
the
to be
swing.
so interested in what this looks like, because that was, if it was 10 out of 10 an exaggeration, I was 12.
Okay,
That felt.
let's see.
I can do more.
This is good.
Huh. It doesn't look like me.
It's quality.
It doesn't look like me.
It's very good, isn't it?
It's, yeah, I mean,
It's exciting because even somebody as good a player as you are, there's improvements here. There's
Yeah.
big improvements available to you, but you have to get out of that comfort zone a little bit to do it.
that felt like the easiest way in my mind. I'm thinking I'm sitting like an iron.
Yeah, I understand that, but you can see the net result is massive. So we have set up on both. These are both drivers.
Yeah.
You can see just how forward your ball position used to be versus now. Interesting, you've gone a little bit narrower. We don't necessarily need that.
I feel like, you know what, we talk about the legs. I feel like it's easier for me to manage it a bit narrower.
Okay, but then keep it.
Keep it, okay.
There's not, if you are able to do that better, then keep it,
Yeah,
for sure.
okay.
Now, let's get impact on both of these. So if you look at where your sternum is and your head, there. So one's going to hit up on the ball a lot
Yeah.
because the ball's so far forward, and the head and the sternum is miles behind it.
Yeah.
You know, this one here,
So far behind the left.
your low point is going to be about there, and then the club is on its way back up again. So you'd have an impact that's similar to that.
Yeah.
Whereas the one you're just doing here, I think you're hitting that pretty much at low point, Alex. So you've got...
Will it be fair to say as well the ball flight is a lot more neutral for everybody watching this? Like, I feel like it's just coming out straight.
Yeah, well, there's hardly any shape on it at all.
No, nothing really.
It's a neutral flight. But we discussed earlier how low point of a golf swing has an enormous bearing on the path of the swing as you strike it. And what's happened here is we've moved it back and yours has become more neutral.
Yeah.
Lower flight and certainly a lot longer.
I'm a bit, well, as you can see, I'm not very often struck for words, but in this case I have.
You've actually got a swing path which is 1 degree left now. For the first time ever.
We're in!